I was hired in 1971. We were still on Hill Avenue. I was the third physicist at the time. Part of the interview was to show me where the campus was going to be located, and they, if I remember correctly, had a start on the Lorison building. That was the first building on campus. So there was this hole in the ground and some steel structure up, and they said, "This is where we'll be moving." So after a year, we did, right after Hurricane Agnes. And that was an interesting experience in itself, because with the flooding in the city of Reading, there was supposed to be no traffic over the Penn Street Bridge. The movers managed to get across the bridge. I was fully expecting the move was to be canceled. This was like somewhere around June 25th. And I got a call from Bill Perry at the time saying, "The movers are here. Come tell us where we want to put the equipment." So we did. I've been the campus or college marshal now for a number of years, carrying the mace at commencement and leading the procession. The interesting thing there is I probably came on it by default originally, because we had a campus senate committee at the time meaning the early 70s, and graduation was also something that was relatively new to us. So the committee chair was the by default the campus marshal at that time. Well, somehow when I agreed to chair the committee, I became campus marshal, and then I could never convince anybody else to take it from me. So I've been ever since, which is well over 30 years now. Our first commencements in our new campus, our current location, were actually held in the library. Much to the chagrin of our head librarian, because the tech service people had to move all of the book stacks, and we had to open up the whole area so that we could have it there, with a graduating class of probably on the order of 100. Then we moved to holding commencements in the auditorium, which holds a little over 300 people. That was a real tight fit, with sometimes, besides the administrators and the other leaders being on the speakers and so forth being on the platform, we also had the faculty sitting behind them with those bright lights in their eyes. Everybody complained about that. And then eventually with the Beaver Community Center, we moved into the gymnasium, which has been a much more pleasant experience for everybody, much more room. Commencement has grown to the point where we actually hold 2 a year now rather than 1. We have a fall or winter commencement and the spring commencement. The majority of, in the early days, our graduating students were associate degree students. Now, the vast majority are bachelor's degree students. I think one of the biggest changes I've seen, we talked about the number of students and how the degrees have changed, but one of the biggest changes I've also seen is with the hiring of a large number of new faculty, not only in physics but also in biology and in chemistry. Their support for their development, their research programs has changed significantly, especially in the last 10 years, with the issue being that when I was hired, part of my interview with folks at University Park, which we were much more closely allied with at the time, was this is not a location where you can do a lot of research, and it's not really expected. Well, that changed dramatically, very quickly. But then in the past, say, 7 or 8 years, I'd say, support for faculty to do research has improved significantly with the granting of funds for startup, lab space. The research itself, which has grown and been supported significantly lately, has become a big area for a couple of reasons. One, it's allowed us to hire some very good faculty, very good in terms of teaching and in research. It's allowed us to provide research experiences for students that primarily would not be available at most of the other Berks County institutions. In fact, most of our four-year programs in science have some component of research as an important part of that. So a student graduating quite often will have his name as a co-collaborator on a paper with a faculty member, which is a significant accomplishment.